Right, morning. Can you hear me? Hopefully, yes.
Yes,
Right, we're going to
yes.
get some more people coming on Wednesday. So anyone who new is coming on, welcome. Anyway, as we found out yesterday, as such, I think most of the morning was spent with that final word being patience, and I do think it may be the issue as such today. And I'm just going to catch some more people coming on. I'll quickly go through the agenda this morning because we've got 8 or 9 minutes to see the opening. It looks as though the opening is going to be fairly flat. We're up anyway, 0.5% in most markets, so to speak, and we'll probably go through what's coming on. For on your agenda as such today, I got it wrong yesterday. I thought the budget was 3 o'clock. That's old school. The budget in the last few years has been 12:30. So we'll go through it anyway. So obviously, uh, what we have out this morning. I've wrote it all out here somewhere, and I'll go through it. Anyway, I'll go through. Basically, we do have the PMIs out all morning, as we did have on Monday. Those of you who don't know what PMIs are, uh, that they're obviously something that's you go through on the Trader Mate. It will tell you it's just a survey that's amongst 400 other
Good
companies.
morning,
Morning,
Mike.
Daniel.
Good morning, Nell.
Good morning. Yeah, that goes through, and they start off at 8:45 at Italy, 8:50 France, 8:55 Germany, and 9 o'clock Europe, and obviously 9:30 the UK. All I'm saying is that we have to be aware of them. However, yeah, they don't tend to move the markets that much. So obviously this morning, that's all we've got on the agenda. We had the UK official reserves out at 7 o'clock. Didn't really move the markets. However, if they do move the markets, we're probably in the gilt market, which most of you don't trade. 12:30, we do have the UK budget, and that will probably, I think the speech is, the betting is 40 to 50 minutes, and that will obviously affect what Sunak can offer. Yeah, 3 o'clock is our main figure out of the day, the ISM, and we'll probably may do a Zoom for that. And obviously that affected the market massively on.
Oh, hi, Dave.
Those of you, I'm going to have to put you on a. Hang on, can you
1964 hash.
Can you mute? Can you mute
Yeah, my
your?
dad will be there. But
Can you, I'm
yeah,
going to mute
that's
it.
fine. He might still be in bed. I'm in London at the moment.
I've done that. Sorry. Thank you, Bianca. Right, we go again. I do apologise. So we go through quickly last night. Now I've got all confused. Brainard spoke last night, and he was a dove. What he said, we said all week, and what's pushed the down market down on the close last night was that the bond market has caught his eye. Those of you, the bond market is something I've been screaming and shouting about, and that is because of inflation. He said they're happy that they have the tools available to keep inflation in and about 2%. Fed Daily came on a bit later. He said exactly the same thing, that they are aware that they may have to control rising yields. Biden came out last night and says he reckons he has enough vaccines by the end of May, another positive sign to push the market up. Obviously, this afternoon, rumours are coming out that the UK expects to extend furloughs until September. Obviously, that will push maybe the pound down and maybe obviously the gilts down as well. The word he's going to use, he reckon, this afternoon at 12:30 is whatever it takes. One that's been very popular with Mr. Powell of the Fed, and also very popular of the ECB, Mr. Draghi and Christine Lagarde. Obviously, tomorrow we have the OPEC meeting that decides the oil. The last OPEC meeting, they decided not to produce any more oil. They may change their mind now because oil is above $60. Obviously, the stimulus bill, 1.9 trillion stimulus bill, is supposed to be debated today in the Senate, which is the higher house in the US. And the stumbling block again will be this $15 minimum wage. That will probably come out later this evening, probably after our close at 4:30. Quickly onto the central bankers, because they've been moving the market. We do have 9 central bankers speaking today, starting at midday. I'll go quick through it. ECB, because I always say they're a dove or a hawk. If they're dovish, they think interest rates are going to go down. If they're hawkish, they think interest rates are going to go up. So you can work out accordingly when they speak. The market should move accordingly. A dove indices should go up. A hawk indices should go down. 12 o'clock, we've got ECB, because a super dove. 1 o'clock ECB Panetta, a dove. 3 o'clock the Fed Harker, Super Hawk. Interesting at 3 o'clock because we have the ISM, the big figure of the day. So he may come out and say interest rates or bond markets need to be taken noted. So be aware of it. 3 o'clock we have the Gundos out again, number 2 of the ECB. He's also a dove. There's a common thing here, most of them. 4 o'clock the Bank of England, Tendrico, he's a dove. I think it might be a woman, actually. I'm not sure. Whoever it is, a dove. 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock, the Fed's Bostic, a hawk as well. He's spoken earlier in the week and moved the market down. 6 o'clock, we had the Fed's Evans, a dove. And obviously at 7:30, we have the ECB, Senibal, and he has no known bias. Yeah. Again, going into, as someone asked, hopefully you can see over here, the market profile yesterday for those who traded it, especially when it's quiet. And we've got it over here on the right. I know we've got some new people on board today. Lisa, welcome as one of them. I can send you the Jack and Jill version of the market profile I put out there. The letters as such are just times. So obviously O up here is 7 to 7:30, P is 7:30 to 8, and obviously Q is the one we'll be looking at, will be 8 to 8:30. What we found yesterday, especially on Wall Street, is the point of control. We go very quickly. Anything above the point of control, we deem to the market is going up, and anything down, we deem the market to be going down. Very simple. The point of control is the battlefield where we expect to see a fight. At the moment, obviously, we're above that, hovering above that, but in a way, we see how tight it is. So the value high, the POC, and the value low, there's probably 20 ticks, which is nothing. Yeah. So in a way, we have to let the market find its place. And again, we'll go into the point of control. I'm going to whack the DAX up today because I think that may have its busiest morning for the first 10, 15 minutes. And again, if we're scalping, we go through it. It has been hard the last few days, but then it's tended to move just after 8 o'clock. Again, we wait to see the market move. It's just price and demand. It's keep it simple. There's no real reason at 8 o'clock why the market goes up and down, except if you've got enough players who want to buy the market, it will obviously go up because there's not enough sellers, and vice versa. Although today coming in we have to wait till 8:15 for the first PMIs out from Spain, so that won't really affect the market. So again, we might see it push down to the value low. And if we're scalping, remember, scalping's a different type of trading. Lots of you have done it before. We're not looking for too much. We're not being greedy. And in a quiet market like this, maybe just 10, 15 ticks, especially in the FTSE, would be enough. In the DAX, you're probably not looking for more than 30 on a quiet day because there's nothing out. It may be obviously busier this afternoon, as we said, when the market picks up and we get the ISM, the budgets, and obviously the US ADP at 1:15 as well. So don't expect too much this morning. The same thing, Dan, you're out there. We shouldn't really be trading more than 6 times a day. Yeah.
Okay.
That's 6 times all day, not 6 times in an hour. Yeah, but you're getting there. So therefore, we've got to cherry pick our trades. If we're looking at the DAX now coming in, we see that spike up. That is just people buying on the opening, on all the news that's coming out. And obviously, they had to buy at the opening. They don't care what price they buy at. All they have to do is get on the board and tell their clients that they're filled buying on a Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. Again, I think we're stuck in the range. To me, we're in a value here. Obviously, it's new highs for the week. And obviously, we might see some stops here that come out there. But I don't see any reason to trade at the moment on the open here. As we see that candle, they've raced it up to 30 and they've raced it back down, to where we were basically 60 seconds ago. As I said before, the reason why we come in and trade at 8 o'clock, because we know we're going to get movement, and it's a simple supply and demand argument. If we whack over to the other indices, and the FTSE should probably have done the same. Did it tick up? As I said, we had a quick spike up, 8 o'clock. In a way, there was probably 15, 20 ticks there on the spike. Yeah, no other reason apart from the fact that it's the opening at 8 o'clock. We go on to the ones that are new, Euro stocks. In a way, Euro stocks were 5 minutes again there, 26 to 30. Those of you who are trading Euro stocks, they're very much like the DAX, but what do we say? 5, 6 ticks in the DAX is 1 tick in the Eurostox. Yeah. Again, I'm going to whack it back on the DAX because it has been a fairly muted open. And you see, we're just ticking up as we're making new highs. If we go back to what we've had all week, this is the highest we've been for the week. And we may see that sentiment carry on all morning. There was no reason whatsoever at 8 o'clock for any of us or any of you to be short. The price action has basically been one way today. I'm not saying you should have gone long because, I mean, I saw no value in buying that. But in theory, we know that when we trade, we can either buy something, we can either sell something, or we leave it alone. Today, at the moment, to me, it was very much a leave it alone. If you're really hot on a sort of game with your hot finger, you may have scalp being long 10, 15 ticks in the DAX and maybe the same in the FTSE. But you had every reason to write down in your journal, that there was no reason to trade. Okay, I'm quickly going to come back here if we can. We've got a few people on there. Any questions you want to ask quickly on there? Because we've got about 3-4 minutes before we go about what will we go for this afternoon. Those of you who are trading the budget, we go on there. That's at 12:30. It normally lasts 40 minutes. Normally the FTSE isn't the one to trade. Ideally, if you want to trade, because what's going to happen is that Mr. Sunak's going to have to give away certain things. And like you said today, rumours he's going to cut mortgage tax or home tax, cut beer duty, cut everything else. So he's going to be giving away money. If he gives away money, that's obviously going to be slightly more negative to the pound and also very negative to the gilts. There is a bond auction this afternoon, 7-year bond auction for the gilts. That'll be interesting to see how much they take up. But if we go on the UK official reserves, they were down by 1.8 billion last month. So in theory, he hasn't got that much money to give away. So he's got to make a lot of noise. Obviously, as we said before, he will be increasing furlough until September, and that's not cheap in my book. Yeah. So be aware of what he's got to say, but also he can't give that much away. So it could be a dull budget. But remember, he cancelled his budget last time. They now do 2 budgets a year. And obviously all eyes will be on how much he will give away. Again, sadly at 8 o'clock, sometimes we get a busy opening. Today, unfortunately, that was dead as a dodo. I doubt many of you traded. Look at your head now. There's a lot of shaking heads out there. So don't worry about it. In theory, when we're learning to trade, there's a lot of pressure on people thinking they have to trade. You think you've made the attempt to get out of bed or get up to listen to me drone on, but there is a view we either buy the market or we sell the market or we do sod all. Today was very much 8 to 8:10 was doing sweet FA. Yeah. Again, when we come onto it, we come on after a while. Those of you who want to find out about your market profile, which we have on the right here, on all the contracts here, we may see what we see on the left here. We see this is not just a sort of Swahili Scrabble board where you get 300 points, WXYB. This tells us yesterday, between these prices, 14,044 to 78, that the market did nothing for 3-4 hours. We may get that this morning up to, say, 12 to 1 o'clock. Yeah. So again, there was every reason the market could be very quiet. Okay, that's it. Those of you who got your one-to-ones today, we'll probably start. Doing them. I'll go around it again. Thank you, Michael. Should never work with children or animals, I was told. Looking back down here, as I said earlier on the market profile left here, we see all these letters, and down here at 14,000 and 60, 70. When we get a collection of letters here, it tells us that Stoddle's been going on for like each of these letters is a half-hour print. So basically, yesterday morning and yesterday afternoon, the market was stuck in a range doing nothing. Yeah. So when the market's doing nothing, we shouldn't be trading. Unfortunately, I think we may find this morning exactly the same thing, in that there is no reason for the market to go up. We've opened higher. on the queue. If you look at the queue here from where we opened, we're near the POC. Obviously, they changed the POC, but if we get a letter queue, that's 8 to 8:30. Those queues are still going up here. Yeah. So again, as I said before, I'm not saying we'd have bought it this morning. The market profile says we should, if anything, still be long, and there's no reason whatsoever to have sold this market this morning. Not yet. Yeah, the letters keep you in. So obviously Q comes R and then S and T. And obviously if the letters keep going up and higher, it tells you the market's going higher. And obviously market profiles telling us that we're actually Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond at the moment. Our buyers it very quiet. Yeah. So if the industry start to rock and roll as they are, you think from the 8 o'clock open, this is a 1 minute chart. If you'd have bought the opening here at 11, if anyone did, you're 30 ticks on side. We normally expect the DAX to move, was it 60, 70, 80 ticks in half an hour to 8:30. So again, any of you who are thinking, oh, what shall we do now? You know, we should sell it here because in theory, if you can't buy it at 11 or 20 or 30, your brain tells you, where can I sell it? Yeah. What market profile is telling you it's not to sell it yet. In theory, we want these letters to come either below the value high. And obviously, to me, if the DAX here, the German 30, if we call it, gets below 41.08, back down here, the low here, where we say here, that I may be interested to sell it there. Yeah, that makes sense. So therefore...
Yeah, Neil, I went long on the opening, but obviously got stopped out.
It was such, we were unlucky. The same thing on the scalp, we got a tight stop. We know if we are trading, we're probably looking for a 30 tick stop, so you wouldn't have been stopped out. Because we're sort of day trading, minute trading, keep it tight, it was there. So Charlie, the view was to go long, you were right, tight stop, you were right as well. And that's where you're going to work out yourself. Were you scalping at 8 o'clock or were you trading at 8 o'clock? Yeah, and so if you're trading, you'd still be in the trade. Obviously, you'd be 40, 50 ticks on side. And the scalping point of view, it wasn't as clear on the opening, yeah, as it looks on the candlestick chart to your left. Obviously, you can see here on the 5 minute candle, the candles are getting quite long, and that's how long the duration is of being long. The same thing, obviously, on market profile to the left. The letters, we see how O was fairly short, P was very short, and obviously Q has been obviously almost 50 ticks now. We normally say the DAX would be 60, 70, 80 ticks in the first half hour, where you've got 40 and growing now. And the reason the market's going up, you know, you should never sell a new high. The old school of trading is that you always buy a new high. Because why? Because you're going to look for stops. You know, people are short, you're going to try and squeeze them out. You know, the high frequency traders and the evil day traders who've been in it for a long time will try and squeeze the people out. All right, then. So again, it does look as though we're starting on the bull front. If we can look at some of the other indices, we probably said, I think someone said they bought the FTSE and nicked 20, 30 ticks. Again, here we look at there. Here we go. The FTSE 55.82, almost 30 ticks there as well. Those of you who are new, why is the market going up? No news has come out. It's just at 8 o'clock, as you said. We know the indices are open for the first time. Hence, we're looking at indices. I think the foreign exchange hasn't moved. We don't tend to look at the FX. Anyone who knows me very well, I think FX is a load of shite. So we go there and we look at the easier opportunities in the morning, which happens to be the indices. No figures coming out. We've got one at 8:15, which is the PMIs. And remember, the PMIs, I'm looking at my calendar. Those of you who haven't done your calendar this week, yeah, you should have done it before. Those of you who want a calendar, send us your email and we'll whack you onto Trader Made and it will be on there. I'll quickly have a look at it, tell you on there if you can see it. We go onto it here and the calendar will come in today. All the things that are obviously coming out today where we are. Those of you, we go for the big one here at 3 o'clock. So you should all be aware of what's trading on the ISM. This to me will be the figure of the day. We'll quickly go through it, why it's important and why it moves the market. 400 companies, obviously that will affect the GDP and everything in the market. And obviously those of you who traded the manufacturing one at 3 o'clock realize it moved the market probably 150 ticks in, was it 3-4 minutes at 3 o'clock on Monday. Okay. Rest of you, I'll speak to you on the one-to-ones later. If not, have a good day.
Thanks, Neil. Take care, mate.
And
Thanks,
you.
Neil.
Okay.
So much.